When you see that smoke on the horizon, it is so easy to feel completely powerless. But what if I told you that the most important work to save your home happens long before a fire ever even starts? So today, we're not going to talk about fear. We're going to talk about empowerment and how you can build a truly resilient home right from the ground up. Okay, let's just dive right in with a statistic that honestly might surprise you. Around 85% of all wildfires are actually started by people. Now, that's not to point fingers or place blame, but it's to make a really crucial point right from the get-go. Since we're part of the equation, we can also be a huge part of the solution. The tough reality is what we all used to call wildfire season is, well, it's stretching into a year-round threat in a lot of places. But the most important message we have for you today is this: you are not powerless. The actions you take before a fire can literally change the outcome for your home and for your family's safety. Mitigation, and we're talking about the simple, proactive steps we're about to cover, it genuinely, truly works. So here's our game plan. First, we'll get a handle on the new reality of wildfires. Then we're going to build your defense from the outside in, right? We'll start with the space around your property, then we'll harden the house itself, create a last-minute action plan, and finally, make absolutely sure you have a solid evacuation plan for your family. Okay, first things first, let's make sure we're all on the same page about the very specific kind of threat that so many communities are facing right now. We have to talk about something called the wildland-urban interface, or the WY for short. You know, that's basically any area where our homes and neighborhoods butt up against natural, undeveloped land, like forests or grasslands. It's this intersection that creates a really unique and growing risk, and it's exactly what we're focused on preparing for today. All right, let's get into your first, and you could argue, most important layer of defense. And this isn't about your house just yet. This is all about the space around it. The magic number to remember here is 30 feet. Firefighters call this creating a fire break, but you can just think of it as your home's personal buffer zone. The goal is super simple: deny an approaching fire the fuel it needs to get anywhere near your house. So what does that actually look like on the ground? Well, it's mostly about basic cleanup. Think of it like starving a fire of its food. You're clearing out all those dead leaves and dry grass, especially from sneaky spots like under your deck and inside your gutters. Keeping your lawn tidy and trimming back branches are simple things that just remove a fire's easy pathway to your home. And that brings us to a really critical idea called ladder fuels. See, a fire on the ground is one thing, but low-hanging branches, they act just like a ladder, letting that fire climb right up into the treetops, where it becomes way more dangerous and spreads so much faster. By trimming those branches at least 10 feet off the ground, you literally break that ladder. You can stop a ground fire dead in its tracks. Now that we've managed the space farther out, let's zoom in and focus on the house itself. This next layer of defense is what the experts call home hardening. Okay, listen up, because this is probably the most critical area of all. It's the 5-foot perimeter right up against your foundation, and it's called Zone Zero. You know, most homes aren't lost to some giant wall of flame like in the movies. They're lost to tiny, wind-driven embers. And Zone Zero is exactly where those embers love to land and start trouble. Keeping it clean is your absolute top priority. Seriously, securing Zone Zero is non-negotiable. This means swapping out flammable stuff like wood mulch for things like gravel or stone. Keep it perfectly clean, no leaves, no debris, and please never, ever store firewood next to your house. That is literally like leaving out a welcome mat for embers. And looking beyond Zone Zero, the materials your home is made of really matter. An old wood shake roof, that can be a tinderbox for embers, but modern composition shingles are non-combustible. Same thing for your vents. If they're unprotected, they're an open door for sparks. But covering them with a fine metal mesh slams that door shut. These kinds of upgrades make your home fundamentally less inviting to fire. Okay, so you've done all the long-term work. That's fantastic. But now a fire is in the area. An evacuation might be coming. This is not the time to panic. This is the time to execute your last-minute action plan. Inside your house, the goal is to seal it off from embers and make it as visible as possible. So shut all your windows and doors, but, and this is important, leave them unlocked so firefighters can get in if they need to. Turn on every single light, inside and out. It helps crews see your home through all that thick smoke. And finally, turn off your AC and any fans to avoid sucking that smoke inside. Outside, you're going to move fast. Get anything flammable.
Patio furniture, doormats, grills, at least 30 feet away from the house. Shut off your gas and any propane tanks. Connect your garden hoses and leave them out where firefighters can see them. And last, prop open your driveway gates. You want to give those emergency vehicles the easiest access possible.
We've secured the land. We've hardened the house. Now it's time for the final and, frankly, the most vital part of this whole plan, getting you and your loved ones out safely. This quote from a firefighter just cuts right to the heart of it all. When they roll up to a home that hasn't been prepared, their job becomes exponentially harder, and sometimes it's just impossible. Your preparation isn't just about your property, it's about giving them a fighting chance and, ultimately, keeping everyone safe. Every single household needs a Go Kit. It should be packed and ready to go long before you ever need it. Just think, what would you need to be on your own for 3 days? The key is having it ready to grab in a second. Oh, and don't forget cash. When the power is out, ATMs and credit cards are basically useless. And that kit is just one piece of your family's plan. Make sure everyone, and I mean everyone, knows your main escape route and a backup one. Decide on a meeting spot. Keep your car's gas tank at least half full during fire season. The time to have this conversation is now, when things are calm, not when there's smoke in the air. So let's end by thinking about this a little differently. Every bit of defensible space you create, every ember-resistant vent you install, every clear evacuation plan you make, it's a direct gift to the firefighters on the front lines. A prepared home is a defensible home, and you know what? That helps your entire community. Everything we've covered today just goes to show that your home's best defense isn't a fire engine screaming up the road at the last minute. It's the thoughtful, deliberate plan you put into action starting right now. So the only question left is, what's your plan?